Visible, right? Hello, good morning. Audible, right? Good morning, everyone. We welcome you back on today's session, today's morning session. Let me introduce the speaker, Dr. Amarnath CB is serving as head of BIM strategy at L&T. Over the course of his career, he held his positions in India, Taiwan, Spain, Italy, and UK. He is playing an active role at several Digital Built India initiatives. He holds PhD in establishing organization BIM strategies from National Taiwan University with 1 year exchange program at Imperial College, London. One master's in global BIM management from University of Barcelona, another in construction management from Bangalore University. Currently, he is founding president of National BIM Society. He is chairman at BIM at Governing Council of Focus Forum for Critical Utility Services. Also, he is serving as principal member for Construction Management Secretarial Committee, Bureau of Indian Standards. He also serves as National Secretary at Forum for Human Rights and Anti-Corruptions. We welcome you, sir, for today's session. Over to you now.
Am I audible now? Hello? Am
Yes,
I audible? Okay, thank you. Well, thank you for the brief introduction, ma'am, and also thanks for our Ramaiah team to bring me on board for this session. Let me have a slide share. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Thank you, thank you. So, well, I believe we have students from different departments, starting from civil, mechanical, electrical, and multiple computer science department, and industrial engineering and other divisions, who are part of supporting the built environment. It may be for a construction or production, automation, industrialization, or whatever. I mean, all youngsters are here for today's session. Thank you for joining this session. Well, this is Amarnath, and here is my WhatsApp number. If you have anything to discuss about the topic what we covered today, you're welcome to connect me on WhatsApp. But I will respond to you when the time is applicable. And when it comes to the areas where I work is more on digitalization with respect to the construction sector. In fact, digitalization is a term which you hear on day-to-day in different sectors. It may be for even the shopping, what you do on day-to-day basis, from the food, what you purchase, the groceries, what you procure, that side, and also the construction sector digitalization. And every industry you see today is with digitalization is the way forward. And the pandemic has taught us all how to work from home, how to study from home, and how to do everything being at different locations and being connected. I mean, this is something which is teaching us for the way forward. And in fact, the pandemic has really taught us for the digital transformation journey to go further. And the same applies even in the construction sector where we are from. I'm a civil engineer to start with, and I have my further expertise on construction management and the project management and helping companies, especially the ones which are into the construction sector, to support them in digital transformation journey. Well, in this sector, I support the market level, especially in our country, for the digital transformation for the construction related. And also at the contractor level, I'm working in L&T to support the digital transformation journey for the projects what we deal with. And we deal with almost all kind of projects, starting with buildings, metros, high-speed trains, healthcare, water treatment plants, power transmission, substations, institutional buildings, commercial buildings, or whatever you see in the built environment today for any construction. Roughly 35 to 40 types of projects we deal with in India and also in other 30 plus countries. And also coordinate for the transformation to happen. Being in the AEC sector, we have to make sure the kind of ecosystem is built for the transformation to happen. And with the global connects, especially the ones dealing with the similar digitalization, we use a term called BIM, Building Information Modeling. That means, for example, in industrial engineering or in aeronautical or in some manufacturing, you do a prototype of any of the things you have to develop, before you get into the manufacturing. The same way in the construction sector, we do the prototype on a software. A model will be developed, and the same model will be evolving from the planning of the project, then the design, then the construction, then the operation, demolition, recycle, so that the same model, and there are multiple stakeholders involved in the project. It may be a client, the consultants who coordinates the client and other parties, a design companies, contractor companies, subcontractors, and the government agencies which give the approvals, operation teams, and so on. So all these people generate a lot of data during their span in the projects. But to make sure that the data is in one place so that it's accessible to all the parties in the projects, and to make sure that it's much digitally managed so that the projects will be digitally transformed and it will be more of a smart building, smart infrastructures and cities. Now, that's the overall picture we are focusing today. And that's the expertise where I'm coming from. And frankly speaking, it's a more of a multidisciplinary session. And previous sessions, what I have delivered, we had students from mechanical, civil, electrical, construction management, architecture, business management, and some of them from legal also, and industrial engineering and so on. It's a same thing. Whatever you plan, design, manufacture, and assemble, it's complete project management perspective. So I was looking into your portal of MS Ramaiah. I got to know about these departments, what you have currently. I'm sure that some of these department students are already here, and some of the subjects are very common for all of you, right? So I wish even architecture students were here, and may not be much applicable for biotechnology, chemical, chemistry, and all of this, but applicable for AI, data science, AI and machine learning, civil engineering, architecture, computer science, whatever the divisions in computer science, electronics and communication to some level, and again, electronics and instrumentation engineering to some level. It is all electronics related departments. Humanities, not much. Industrial engineering, the similar way it works as a project management. And about master of computer applications and management studies and mechanical, these are all applicable. There are few departments which may not be applicable for this, because all of these people, one or the other way, contribute for the built environment to happen. It may be for buildings or the vehicles you use in the buildings, or even the manufacturing of products or whatever. Today, when we speak about smart cities, there's a common term which we hear from the Modi initiative, smart cities initiatives, and there are also smart city councils to work on this. The major things which has to be automated for saying smart, and obviously we are all contributing for these smart cities to happen as the engineers and architects, right? So artificial intelligence is one of the key area. Driverless cars to come in India, circular economy, smart agriculture, increased automation, virtual reality, integrated planning, value data, automated worksite. Digital twins is nothing but you have a digital model of whatever the facility you have, so that you can manage your facilities through the digital model when it is linked with your IoT devices. And that's where the IoT comes in, Internet of Things. And I believe most of us will be contributing to one of these areas, right? Someone want to focus on AI, machine learning, IoT, digitalization, automation, construction, mechanical. No, all of us are going to somehow contribute for this sector, for smart cities or a built environment. And today we hear about different terms, right? 3D printing is nothing new. There is a scale models you can print, and also you can develop a real facilities can be built today. A small scale facilities, even a prototype was done in IIT Madras recently. And you can build a small homes with the 3D printing technology itself. And drones is very common today for any industries you go. And within the construction sector, we have multiple applications using these drones. You can do the site um, progress monitoring. You can use the data for quality control and stuff. Many applications are there. Construction automation, where the manufacturing, the mechanical, robotics, and the computer science, all these people come together to have this construction automation. What we also have several equipments to use in the construction phase. Like the one which you see here in image is like Hilti Jybot. Once you give the proper data into it, it will go on the roofing. It will do the proper drilling for the mechanical, electrical, plumbing installation, like lighting, plumbing, electrical, all this installation it can automate. And BAM is nothing but developing the model and using the model across the supply chain for whatever facility you want to build. For example, you are building an hospital. So you can develop the model of an hospital in the virtual, and you can use it for time, cost planning, all the simulations, and during the progress monitoring of the projects and any activity for safety, risk assessments. Every activity can be performed using these models. And today you may be using scanners on the sites, to capture the real situations. Maybe most of the time in India, I think the historical buildings are scanned today, so that any damage happens, they can recollect, they can use the data from the scanned model and reconstruct the facility. Internet of Things is very common today for any smart cities or buildings or the ecosystem as an overall. It's nothing but you have an equipment linked with an internet, and the same can be linked to the model of a facility, so that you can walk through the facilities and can connect with that. And prefabrication is something which is happening in a big way today for a mass housing and stuff. For this to happen, you need a proper dimensions, because you have to do the fabrication off-site and bring them on construction site and then assemble them. And you're looking for all the kind of highways, metros, and all these kind of projects, and some commercial residential buildings. All these kind of projects are driven with prefabrication. It may be at different levels. Today, when I speak about BIM, or a building information modeling, or a digital transformation with respect to the construction sector, okay, I'm not going to any other sector now. I'm speaking about construction sector. But when I speak about construction sector, there's a mechanical engineer involved in the construction activities, the civil engineer involved, architect involved, electronics and communication team involved, computer science involved, automation and robotics team involved, industrial engineering is involved. So all these disciplines are part of this ecosystem. When you come out of the finishing your graduation from the university, obviously you will be serving from one of the sector, maybe for car manufacturing, or maybe for some robotics. For any kind of industry it may be applicable, or you may get into core construction sector, or it may be for any industrial engineering or manufacturing. But uh, today I'm speaking about all of you in the construction sector perspective. Okay, when you join the construction related activities, maybe not maybe contributing for the um, manufacturing of robots, or it may be for automation on the site using the computer science and the IoT and stuff, and maybe a core civil and architecture for the activities and stuff. It's a very big discipline in itself as a sector, and where everyone has a role to play. Today, when we speak about the BIM, which is a big word within the construction sector, it's about having the project management done very well with the digitalization done. So when I speak about different countries, these are the regions where there is a mandate from the ministries saying that, hey, look, you have to use this digital way to deliver the projects. It may be no matter for the buildings, or it may be for high-speed train, for metros, railways, airports, any kind of projects. The clients are saying, hey, look, you have to follow the digital way to deliver us a projects. And these are the countries where the mandates have initiated way back from 2007, 8, 9, 10, and then 15, 20. And further on, there is a mandates going on in other countries also. Even in India, some of the clients, to say like Airport Authority, Central Public Works Department, and Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and few of the other public and private clients at the state governments have mandated that you have to make sure the digitalization is fully matured in the projects to go ahead. And this is the kind of situation. That means you may be in any sector today. Digitalization is a need of an hour for all of us. And I think that's where you are all coming from as youngsters. And related to BIM, as I said, BIM is a building information modeling, which is a multidisciplinary approach for these sector, where you have architecture, mechanical, electrical, computer science, and robotics and business management, all these departments coming together on the construction sector for the digital transformation to happen. So like you have institution of engineers in India, council of architecture, in India, you have builders association, you have real estate association, you have multiple kind of associations. For mechanical engineers, you have an association like ASHRAE, ISHRAE, and you have associations for different sectors. The same way for BIM, which is a multidisciplinary sector, we have a India BIM association in India, where we cross collaborate with all these associations, what I said. And also we have a strategic MOU with roughly 20 countries like Canada, US, Brazil, Africa, UK, Singapore, Hong Kong, New Zealand, Australia, and some of the Gulf and European regions. It's about BIM and digital transformation in each of these countries, and how we coordinate for organizing events, policy developments, awareness, and stuff. Today, when I say about BIM in the education, I don't know if Ramaiah College has an education. I've heard that they don't have a BIM as a multidisciplinary education, but this was a 2016 research I've done, where I can see more than 20 plus countries, or 25 countries at the top universities have BIM in their curriculum for multidisciplinary education, not for civil or architecture. It's like how we are sitting together today. It's a multidisciplinary education for all of these people. And that's where the countries are growing much quicker. And I think that initiative should be taken within your university also, for having a multidisciplinary course on BIM. So to help that digital transformation to happen in our country, we have this India BIM Association, which coordinates with all other countries and other forums within the country to make sure the digital transformation journey happens in this region. And what do we do at this association? So we have connects with the policymakers, who are like academic institutions, regulatory bodies, ministries, policy making agencies, and process field, which is design companies, contractors, subcontractors, owners, developers, facility management organizations, and other people who are really involved in delivering the projects. And the technology vendors, like people who develop the softwares, who provide the network, who provide the hardware, all of this. To make sure that digital transformation happen in the construction sector, it's very much important to build this ecosystem to connect these people for the way forward. And that's the journey where we are in, through the forum, what I was speaking about. Now, coming into our company, I mean, all of you would know this company, L&T, Larsen and Toubro, which is the mega contractor for India. I can say it's the top one contractor for the nation. And the global market, when we see, it's ranked among top 5 to 10 as a contractor. And we deal with projects in roughly 30 to 40 countries. And currently live, we have roughly 800 plus projects, all mega scale projects. Starts with a range of 1,000 crores, 20,000 crores, 30,000 crores. These are the ranges. It may be for, these are the different companies we have in LNG, like buildings and factories, which deals with hospitals, data centers. It may be for airports, commercial residential buildings, institutional buildings, and these kind of projects. Transportation infra, where we deal with heavy projects, where it may be roadways, runways, railways, and heavy civil, it again deals with metros, high-speed trains and stuff. Power transmissions and distribution, today you get the electricity at your home and other places. You have a power lines, transmission lines, and distribution lines, and most of them are driven by our company. Water and effluent treatments for the water supply, what you get, and the recycle of the water, and all this kind of plants, manufacturing, this kind of thing. Metallurgical and material handling, for example, for industrialization, big industrial project constructions, for all these things this company work on. Geostructure, for everything to be done underground. For example, you have an underground metro or an underground a roadway or something. So all these activities are done by Geostructure. Smart Word Communications are the company which deals with all the kind of cameras, what you see in the smart cities, and the data centers has been set up for smart word communications. All these things are driven by company. Renewable energy, like having a energy production using the wind turbines, solar plants and stuff. All these kind of projects are done through renewable energy. So these are the kind of companies we have within L&T Construction. Other than this, you would be hearing about L&T Reality, L&T Hydrocarbons, and multiple others. So this itself deals with roughly 800 projects all over India, and wherever you go, we are with you, for these projects. And digitalization has become a need of an hour for a company like us. because the clients are mandating, all the ministries are bringing a mandate that if you want to bid for these projects, also the global clients are asking for it, that if you want to bid for this project, you have to go this way. So we have made this as an internal mandate within our company for the transformation to happen. And my role here in this company is to help the digital transformation journey to happen. I'm heading the BAM strategy for this company. So when it comes to digitalization, why should we first of all do the digitalization? What is the benefit for me by doing it in the construction projects? Okay, when you look into any projects, if you see the x-axis here, you have a design, that is designing the facility what you want to build, and then constructing the same facility, and then you are using it, then you are using that facility. That's where operation maintenance comes. And if once you finish its lifespan, then you are dismantling it, right? So these are the life cycle phases. Imagine this is applicable for all kind of construction projects, whatever I said. And the y-axis is about cost. Today, if you do a better digitalization or having a BIM implementation in these projects, you can realize 10% of returns in the construction phase of the project and 10% of returns in the operation phase. And that's where the clients are interested. The operation phase, they can realize the 10%. And I'm speaking about projects which are big size, mega scale, where, for example, there's a Noida airport which is coming up now in Delhi, and Bangalore airport which is getting set up. That's also driven with BIM. Delhi airport, Mumbai airport, Chennai airport. All these are our projects which is driven with BIM. And if you see the metro projects, whatever you are looking in the Bangalore metro, which is again our project, the Chennai metro is ongoing, Hyderabad, and different regions, even Delhi metro, which is the next phase which is happening. The high-speed train which has come in as a new project now in India. So even that is driven with BIM. Most of the hospital projects. So when the clients realize that, okay, when I do a digital way, I get these returns. So why should I not do? So the clients have started asking for the digital way forward. And all of you and me will be part of this journey. Maybe you're involved in a design of a mechanical, electrical, or some IT support, or architecture, or civil. You may be as a civil or mechanical. You may also come into the construction phase, where you're actually involved in construction activities to happen. As a maintenance team, you may be part of it, where you want to integrate your IoT devices, automation, and especially in construction, you may also have construction automation to come in. So with all your expertise coming together, that's where the digitalization will happen down the line. And that's where your roles will be in different sectors. And I'm speaking about construction, the same way it may be applicable for other sectors also. By doing this digitalization, what do we get? Obviously, I showed about the return on investment, but you also get time savings. Today, the challenge is when we plan the project for 5 years or 3 years, obviously it's taking another 30-40% more time than delivery, because there's no proper planning. So when you have a digital way of delivering projects, you can obviously save good amount of time. And when it comes to material saving, obviously you have planned well, you have procured only what materials you need. And cost savings can be very good, as I showed about CapEx and OpEx phases. Health and safety can be improved because you can do all the simulations on the site, what can happen, and avoid the risk possible. And improved asset utilization, because today I have a digital model of my facility, what I have to use, and you can use that by integrating your automation, IoT, and all. So obviously, a company able to do all this digitalization will have a better reputation in the market. So these are the kind of benefits you get. Well, today the clients are asking for transformation. I mean, clients are asking for mandates, and they are asking you have to deliver this way. But most of the companies involved in the construction sector have to transform, so that they have to build the team who are capable on that. They have to procure the softwares related to that. There are more than 200, 300 softwares applicable for these implementations to happen. And it may be for different disciplines. It's not the same software for civil engineer or an architect or a mechanical or a computer science or a management person. It's a different softwares. And also when it comes to equipments, you need a workstations, you need a drones, you need a laser scanners, you need IoT devices. Multiple equipments are involved, workstations and stuff. And a manpower, like all of you are part of this journey if you like to be part of construction sectors. So a strategy has to be set up in a company for the transformation to happen. That's where the things are moving towards. And for the implementation to happen, as I said, a proper standardized process is to be set. people and their communication should be properly set. Today, obviously, you have different platforms for your classes to attend, for your sharing of your assignments. In the same way, for the actual project to happen, you have multiple platforms and things, making sure that the data lost cannot happen, and the different softwares and the IT infrastructure. And just to show you a small example for you, see, design phase is on the top, construction phase and operation. There are multiple softwares involved for different activities. So it depends on your role in the projects and what you will do. Imagine you will somehow get into the construction sector environment. In one of the phases of the project, you will be using one of these softwares to deal with the digitalization. Okay. Coming into the contractor perspective, I showed you in the previous slides, we have multiple companies, right? And each of these companies have this kind of departments, like a department which takes care of the tendering and the contracts for getting the project. You have the planning department, which take care of time planning the projects and stuff. And you have a design team who develop the designs of the facility, and you have a safety and quality departments. You have a procurement and supply chain department which will procure the materials and supply as per the requirements in the project, and a project execution, and the formwork, which is a temporary structure for the construction. And for the digitalization to happen, we have to activate these kind of users, like someone developing the model, developing the time schedules, doing the cost planning, doing the safety planning, doing the prefabrication. I can say it's like a hotel menu card. If you want to support your customers with the food, then you have to prepare a different kind of menu items, right, for the food. The same way for supporting the digital journey, a company should build this kind of capabilities, and different people will be involved in developing those capabilities and taking part of the projects. And just to show you some of the kind of equipments which will be part of this journey, obviously you need workstations, dedicated workstations, and even the virtual screens and iPads and other gadgets, you know. And for implementation to happen, you need a people. It's not like civil engineer will learn separately, architect will learn something different, mechanical will learn separate. It's not a silo way, it's a collaborative way. When it comes to real projects, obviously you will have a mechanical engineer, you will have electrical expert, you have an architect, you have a project manager from a business management, and also you have a business development, you have a client, you have a legal department, and you have an architects, you have computer science people doing the coding for such softwares and automation, you have a robotics people working on the equipment developments. So it's a combined effort, it's not a silo way of working, because you have to understand which sector you're going to work for, and you have to understand how you collaborate, coordinate, and communicate among different stakeholders in the project. So it's a combined effort. So I would request, I mean, when I was doing my education way back in 2004 to 8 during my bachelor's, I didn't have that ecosystem understanding. Well, I'm a civil engineer. I thought, okay, a little bit understanding on architecture and civil is good enough. Then I went back into the construction management during my master's. I understood a little bit more. Then during my PhD, I had done 2 masters, and during second master, I got a little bit more understanding. And when into PhD, I got an understanding on the overall project management and how the different disciplines work together. And when you look at different countries and the education system, then we realize it's all multidisciplinary education, which is really missing in our country. And I can see that Kickstart has come now, and I can see that kind of basic courses has been drafted within the departments. And luckily, it's a COVID time, and we're able to bring in experts from different regions to join the sessions. It's a good way for the students, and also they are from different locations, and they can still join and come together for the sessions. And this is a way of learning. Never limit yourself for only from the class learning. There are multiple MOOC platforms like Coursera, EDX, Udemy, Linda. Please explore yourself on multidisciplinary. Never limit yourself to your department discussions. Discuss with other departments, understand where you people work together, because at the end, you have to work in some company, or you have to have your own company, or you may be doing a research. Any of these sectors you get in, obviously you should be multidisciplinary. Without that, you will never be able to survive in a better way at a manager levels and leadership lines in any of these companies. So just to show you some of the slides of the projects which we deal with, like where the digitalization has been done. If you see, this is from buildings and factories. Some of the slides are from Bengaluru airport projects, because you're all from Bangalore, I thought of showing you some Bangalore airport projects. And also for Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, and other projects we are doing with BIM for airports. And this is for heavy civil, where you can see the kind of metro projects, ports and harbors, special bridges, nuclear plants, hydel and tunnel projects. All of them are driven with digitalization today. It may be during the design, for construction, and also for operations to some levels. And obviously, you will be using these drones and all. If you have that opportunity, maybe if your department already has it, if not your department, you can, if you're from architecture and civil, I feel, oh, our department doesn't have this, get into the computer science or robotics, understand how you can use these drones for your sector. It's never limited. This drone usage is starting from the agriculture industry to the construction industry, automation, every industry you can use, and there are applications, there are softwares to link for that for your sector. Just for our sector, I will show you a short video. I don't know how much of time I left with. How much time do I have for the discussion?
You have at least more than 20 minutes.
Okay, then let me not get into this video. So drone usage, recently I had a session with the Canadian team on the drone usage for the construction sector. We got to know that roughly 30 to 35 applications are there for each of the project types in the digitalization for construction. This is for the laser scanners, where we can scan the real facility situations and convert that to the model, so that you don't need to go to the sites to capture the measurements and any renovations to be done. From the model, you can do all those activities. This is like a robot dogs from Boston Dynamics, and we have multiple other companies launching it. This was a little bit expensive when Trimble and Boston, they come together for laser scanning, quality control for the construction. Now there are more other dogs, micro-sized dogs also coming up now. Maybe this may be more interesting for computer science, robotics and automation people, electrical. And all these are applicable for our industry when you want to use it. The major challenge today we face in the sector is someone only knows how to do that, but they don't know how to apply in this sector. Someone knows how to apply, but they don't know how to integrate them. This is where multidisciplinary situations are challenging today in our sector. Wherever you go for higher education and research, it's all multidisciplinary. No one is limited to one sector. And iPad's usage for overlapping on your real facility situations and see how much of changes are there on the site and stuff. And this is like you have different projection systems. Once you develop the facility model, a digital model, you can view that through this kind of platforms where you experience the real facility through walkthrough. And there are multiple softwares which you can integrate for your construction sector through this. And these are the kind of scanners where you walk inside the facility to capture the interiors, where you can do the renovations and some internal data capture and stuff. You have a smart construction helmets, where you have augmented reality integrated with the helmets, where you can see the real facility and overlap that with your model and see how much deviation from what you have planned, or even for the quality control. These exoskeletons, again, this for construction sector from other sectors who has to prepare this, because there will be heavy lifting of equipments to be done. As I showed you, this one is about the construction field automation. Today, you have multiple cranes, multiple equipments like bulldozers, lifting equipments, and trucks, and this kind of installation equipments, and multiple of them, surveying equipments, total stations. All of these are equipments to be automated by other sectors, which should be integratable. If you don't even know the sector, how are you going to do the automation, or how are you going to build the product which is workable for our industry or some other industry? So you have to understand each sectors for which you're going to work for. Then you can produce these things. I will show you a short video here. This is about how the digitalization is happening at a city level. This for in Italy. So they have digitalized the complete facility, from the railways, roadways, metros, the facility buildings, all of these digital models are developed, and they are placed in a city GS level, where you can, rather than getting into the site and getting the IoT data from the dashboards, you can here get into the model, walk into, click on the elements, get the IoT sensor data. That's the level of automation which is currently working in different Nordic regions. And this is the way forward for our country, so that the public facilities what are getting developed can be digitally managed sitting in one place. No need to go to the place, look into how much of, for example, you have a wind turbines, you have a solar plant. You don't want to go to the site and get the data or the dashboards on a 2D platform, but you can click on those solar plants through the model, look into how much energy has been developed. All this data can be captured through the digital platforms. This is the level of digital which we are looking for. Obviously, you are the people to make this transformation to happen. So this kind of automation can be done. And since a limited time, I'll just fast forward this video. I have a next slide. So when we say about collaboration in a project, obviously you will be on a site, you may be on a design, you may be on operation, you may be a client, you may be in different country, different regions, different project sites, different office locations, but you have to come together to share the data and work together. So the cloud technology is very common in construction sector these days, and using that and putting the softwares on those cloud platforms and working on the building sector. It is a need of an hour today, and where you have a common data environments connected on the clouds, and people are working on that for all the kind of activities, for the meetings, for documentations, for design, for planning, estimations, rendering, AR/VR integrations, facility management, blockchain, IoT. All of these are part of this journey. And there's a short video for you on Internet of Things, how this can be linked with our construction sector, especially when you want to get into operations. You can see a facility here, and whatever the lighting systems you have here, all these lighting systems can be controlled through the digital model itself by clicking on the lighting system data, and you can switch off, switch on them. For example, on the right side, you can see the views. For example, carbon dioxide emission in different spaces. You have multiple spaces in this facility, right? Each space, how much carbon dioxide emission is happening, which doors are locked or open. You can control them through the model. Humidity, and switching off the lamps and switching them off. And this is for photovoltaic plants. Today, the electricity generation from the solar plants have become pretty common. So just clicking on these models, you can know how much of kilowatt hour energy has been generated from these models. And this for the wind turbines, if you see. So again, you usually have a 2D dashboards for this. Now here you have a 3D model for all these activities to happen. This for the electric cabinets. Obviously, if you want to control these cabinets through the model, you can do that. This for the lighting systems, the lamps where you want to switch off them, switch on them, all these kind of activities at once. For example, you have these multiple doors which are automated in the facility on the cameras. So through the model, you can click on the cameras and then you can activate them. You can walk through them. You can check which place, what kind of activities are happening through the model, and you can monitor that cameras through this model. Okay. And this for the doors and windows, if you want to close them at once, if you want to close when you're closing of the office, you can do it at once. You don't need to look in each of the doors to make that happen. It's for big size projects I'm speaking about. And this is on the humidity, like what is the level of humidity in different spaces, understanding that and working on the air conditioning systems. Carbon dioxide emissions, depending on the number of people using that space, the carbon emissions will be different. So monitoring that. Occupancy levels, like what spaces, what kind of occupancy we have currently in each of the spaces. And even the scheduling of the space usage, on the offices. To this level, detailed work can be done to the next level of smart cities. Okay. So, it's a very short presentation with a short time given. So I see that Krishna said me that we'll have a discussion for 20 minutes for Q&A. Well, we have another 15-20 minutes, I believe. It's open,
No,
the
your
session is
presentation.
open for discussions.
No, if you wanted to show a few more videos also, it's fine. Till 12 o'clock at least you can take for the talk. The thing is from 11 to 12:30, so
Ah.
you can take few more minutes. I mean, at least 10 more minutes for the talk. No issues.
How
You
about
had
Dr. Krishna, how about making it more of a discussion session, brainstorming to make understand the students where they're coming from? Because
sure,
in fact, among these students, I have my nephew also, who himself previous year he was so confused on which department, what to do. So,
sure, sure.
so I like to understand from the students what are their challenges, what are their vision, what is their way forward. Something they want to know. I will be happy to help representing the construction sector.
Sure, 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 sir. So students, you can put your questions in the Q&A forum and it will be taken up.
Yeah, or if you have the mic to unmute and speak, that's also fine. It's up to you.
Yeah, that's also, I mean, if you can raise your hands, if you want to ask it yourself, you can press the raise hand option and I'll give you the ability to unmute. So any one of the following can be done. You can either ask for unmuting option or by raising your hand, or you can put your question in the question and answer forum. So while we are waiting for the questions, I thought I'll ask a few questions myself. So if you could just, let's say, take an example of Bangalore airport and kind of tell what are the different aspects that you will be considering. It would be nice. One example of what are all the different aspects, maybe.
You mean in with respect to digitalization, is it?
Yes, yes.
So, well, what when it comes to Bangalore Airport, BIL, the client, they clearly mentioned that they need a digital way forward. When the bidding itself started, we have to bid for the project considering the time planning, cost planning. The model has to be developed, and some clients, I mean, for Bangalore Airport, they have already given the model for the airport how it has to be done from their consultants, and they have us bid for this project using that model, so that we have to estimate the cost of the facility that we are going to build through the model, so that it will be the level of accuracy will be good, because if not the deviation will be very high. That's number one. When we started the project itself, it started with that level at tendering and contracts level. The next is for us to use it for time planning, linking it with the timeline and doing the time planning and monitoring. Other one comes into the cost planning, like the procurements, and also how much cost it would cash flow is required at different timelines. And also we had set up a common data environment so that different peoples in design and construction field connect together through this platform, so that the model is on that cloud base and everyone want to make the changes, updates in the same model, and others get the notifications of the changes in the facility. And as per the site changes, that all should be updated. And other things, it may be for safety simulations we have done, quality monitoring, progress monitoring of the facility. And also when we hand over the project, the client has said they need a digital twin of the facility. That means whatever airport you have constructed, you have to hand over the digital replica of that. There should be not much of deviation from your virtual model and your physical model. So we are developing a digital twin for that. And obviously you will have thousands of IoT sensor data. So that IoT devices should be integrated into the model. And then they use it for facility management, for better operations. So like these multiple activities will be involved. I didn't give you a full picture, but it has very detailed working on that.
Thank you. So is it possible for you to put your video on so that students would be able to see you?
Yeah, no problem. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a question in the forum by Musab Zafar. So the following students who are going to ask questions, if you can just also tell which branch you are, I think you'll be able to answer your questions better. Musab's question is, I want to know about BIM technology and how we can implement it in India. How can we become BIM expert? Can we start learning BIM from first year?
Yeah, sure. In fact, there are some programs which is meant for students at a multidisciplinary level to join. You can connect with me. I will give you some references. There are some certification programs through India BIM Association also for student levels. And it's not about can I start? You have to start. There is no other way. If you want to be in a construction sector, BIM is the only way forward for your journey, because today, if you want to get into any projects with the better salaries and packages, you have to have these digital capabilities to be part of it. Today, we have a BIM Academy. I'm sitting in our experience center here, and we have everyday trainings happening for our employees. It may be at a managed construction manager level, or a planning engineers or designers, safety, quality people, our business management, computer science people are part of it. So there are programs, and you have to start your journey. If you start now, you will be able to compete in the global sector projects also. Today, if you are in the construction sector, if you are not digitally enabled, your packages will be maybe less than half of what you can get in a digital way. So there are different technologies for you to learn depending on the role what you would play, and you can learn them. So in fact, I can share my number also in the group. Probably anyone want to connect. I will give you further guidance. There are multiple software. It all depends on what exactly you want to learn and where you want to go. I can suggest you. And if you want to get into any other country for your masters, now this digitalization and BIM has become a multidisciplinary, and even for research, you have to be part of that. And also, if you're going for a jobs in other countries in the construction sector, it's a need of an hour. Without that, you cannot even get into the recruitment process for that in many of the developed regions. And within India, it's almost workable. There is an ecosystem which is getting built today. So you can be part of that journey.
So students, add your questions fast. So again, while you're adding, add another question. So in one of the videos that you showed like complete digitalization is what our aim and goal is. So what's the role of a manual override? So let's say, if it's going to be completely digital, what about cyber attacks or, maybe electrical power loss or something? So what is the scope for manual overrides, and how do you deal with Indian people still, there is a illiteracy with respect to digitalization. So how do you handle the balance in those aspects?
Okay. Am I audible now?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Well, we speak about so much about cyber security and other things. Has anyone stopped using their mobiles and their internet, gadgets, everything? Everyone are using today. And many of the students today are working on cryptocurrency also. With all these situations, I mean, it's a way forward. Digitalization is the only way forward, and we cannot think of those things. Anything you do, obviously, there will be, once your system is connected to internet, it's not so secure, whatever you bring in. So we cannot get into that kind of mindset, and then we cannot progress actually. It's a need of an hour today. When we didn't have the digital way forward, we were not able to do work from home. We were not able to do study from home or study from anywhere. We were not able to connect with multiple organizations or projects where we have to deal on one particular project in one particular region. Obviously, we deal with projects which are in different countries. The design team is sitting in here in Chennai, and some team is sitting in Mumbai, and some other people are sitting in Gulf regions and other countries, Africa and Asia and Middle East and other stuff. And obviously, the design service they have to take from here. They cannot do the design there, and so when we don't have a digital way, we cannot survive. I mean, it's become need of an hour. When it comes to client, you will have multiple partners working together on a project, and they will be from different locations and countries. So how will you look for delivering the project successfully without that collaboration?
So there's a question from Kushi. The question is how to minimize the risk of putting data at risk if we wish to digitalize everything. How do you minimize? What are the strategies?
That computer science people need to tell me, because today there is a virus means there is antivirus introduced. I mean, the same people who introduce virus will introduce the antivirus. So, so the people who are into that sector need to tell us, and there's always a way to make it very much confidential. You can set up your own cloud systems in your region. For example, L&T, if I take, we have our own cloud setup in the region, and our data can be in one same platform. We don't need to put into Google or some other Amazon or something like that. And even if it is there, obviously it's secured to some level. You will have a confidential data, and you will have the MOU signed with these agencies. Yeah, it's all secured, and it's also not fully secured. So it all depends on how we take that. If you want to keep it so secure, then you have to set up your own data centers for your projects. For example, for a company of our size, if you set up our own data center, then we can keep it secured within our region. We don't need to put it into some other data center in some other country.
The next question is by Lakshay. The question is, why is there still resistance to BIM implementation?
I don't think so much of resistance. The things which get driven in our country is the top down. When we say top-down approach, when the ministries mandates, when your clients ask for things, then the companies start delivering it. Today, most of the ministries, as I said, like Airport Authority, HUDCO, and Central Public Works Department, healthcare, and some of the state level banks, KIFBI, and few other state governments have started mandating BIM for the requirements, because there is a transparency built in the projects, so that it's not something you say and it's something is done. So everything is transparent and much of a collaborative way of working. And people have started realizing, and they're considering it. For example, in our company, if I say, more than 50% of our projects are driven with them.
Okay, so the next question is there a use of blockchain technologies in building with BIM?
Yeah, obviously, that's what I was discussing in one of the slides. Today, when we do the construction activities on day-to-day basis, there's a data that gets generated. And when there's a kind of claims or disputes coming up, you need to have a resolution, right, for that through the law, court of law. And for that, what we do is we use the blockchain technology. We capture the day-to-day site data through the blockchain and CDE. And then that is blockchain and hashtag, so that the same data, when there's a claims or disputes, can be utilized and is acceptable in the court of law and can help you for resolutions.
Yeah, the next question is AutoCAD and BIM same?
Well, AutoCAD, it's like previous to my generation who used to use. At least my generation, we are using BIM. If you still want to go to AutoCAD, I don't know if you will be able to survive in the market. AutoCAD is only about 2D, two-dimensional. BIM is all about three-dimensional. You have X, Y, Z axis all. You will be able to see the model, not drawing. So then you will also add on the information about each of them. For example, I have a lighting system. I can click on the lighting system. I know when it was installed, from whom it has been procured, and what is its lifespan. If there is a warranty attached to that model itself, everything will be in that data. Wherein CAD drawings, you just have a drawing. You cannot visualize things, and here you have each and every information built into the model. That's the difference.
So the next is there a use of, one sec, yeah. What about the smart edge computing and fog computing with local host through the digital twin?
I didn't understand the question very well.
Okay, so the person who wrote the question, if you can just rephrase the question and type it again, that would be good. So another question is, what is the role of automation in electricity supply and power grids?
Automation in power grids, or you are speaking about construction of power grids?
It says role of automation in electricity supply and power grids, maybe load shedding or things like that. I'm not sure.
That's too detailed and too technical. I cannot get into that.
Okay.
I will connect you with an expert into transmission and distribution who can give you further explanation on that.
Okay. So if the person who asked can contact Dr. Amarnath, he'll be able to help you out. So one more thing which I had is, like, you in your presentation, you said that design, construction, maintenance, there are so many softwares which are there. So how should one update oneself? So should you have a wide knowledge in many softwares, or is it one software that you have to specialize in? Can you name one or two softwares which will still be latest technology after 4 years, so that the students can start looking at those softwares right now?
Well, if you're an architect, you have to look into architectural design, modeling solutions. or into class detection solutions. And if you're a structural engineer, you have a software for modeling the structures and analyzing the structures. And if you're a mechanical, electrical MEP engineers, you will be having a software for MEP modeling and also for prefabrication in the softwares. And if you're a planning engineer, you will be looking into time planning softwares. And if you're a QA/QC quality, on the quality control, you have a separate softwares. If you're into project management, you have a different softwares. You're into legal and contracts, you have a different software. So everyone have a different softwares to work, and you may have an options to look in. As a planning engineer, I may have 10 to 15 options for which one I have to learn. So like that, you will be able to choose the softwares. Today, I don't want to name any software names, but I would suggest you to focus on open BIM solutions, which will really help you for the way forward. Because if, for example, after 4 years, if you want to set up a company of your own startup, you want something which are really affordable solutions, which are easily integratable with other solutions in the supply chain. And for that, OpenBIM is the only solution. And some of these solutions, what I'm saying, like the one which I showed you, the video from Italy, it's a software called ACA. And they have softwares which you can purchase on a monthly basis, which would hardly cost you 1,500 rupees per month. And these kind of softwares are easy to bring on them on board. And some softwares, they're costing around 5 lakh, 10 lakh, 15 lakh per license, which you and me cannot buy it as an individuals, or it may be big company which need to afford it. But the deliverables are same, whichever software you use. So again, if you want to look at a managerial level, because if you want to be just a technical person, just learning a software, it's fine, human and machine interaction. But if you want to get into the drone usage, for example, you need to know how to fly the drone, and then how to consider the data for implementations. You want to use the scanners, AR/VR devices. So these are all technical jobs. When it comes to managerial, you should know multidisciplinary, obviously, how you need to get the data or work from different people from different disciplines. And if you are into leadership, then you have to understand the whole ecosystem, partnerships, and everything. So it depends on where you want to go in the sector, and then you decide which softwares you want to do, or what you want to learn. And there are some programs which I can help you with. You just need to connect with me, and will guide you for the right people on those lines, understanding your requirements.
Um, okay, so the question about that smart computing, I think is slightly rephrased again, saying he's asking about smart edge computing devices in place of cloud computing for maybe things, applications like digital twin, probably with regard
See,
to safety.
with respect to digital twin, it's nothing but you have a replica of your physical asset. You have a physical asset in place. You have developed a digital replica of that, and you're putting it on a cloud, and you're integrating with your IoT sensors and other data. That's it. I don't know if something other than this you're speaking, which is way beyond. I'm a civil engineer and construction management guy, a poor guy from civil core industry. So if something more on computer science, you have something to automation to speak about, please connect with me. We'll discuss, and something you can help us, we'll be happy.
Okay, so another question is, as someone who builds on real world, so this is by Sauhadra, what do you think about building in metaverse or digital world? So what's your opinion
That's what,
on?
yeah, that is what I was showing you, the digital cities and city level digital models developed, where all the public facilities, you can see the railways, you saw them, and you saw the buildings, and you had all the public facilities mentioned in there, and all the IoT sensor data, whatever related to public facilities, are integrated into that. So it's a need of an hour. That's where the smart cities definition goes back, if you look for matured smart city delivery. And it's a requirement today.
Okay, so again, one more question which I had. So you showed me the video where like an entire city, you can click anywhere you want, whichever project, and you go. But let's say while implementing it, and we don't have monopoly, right? So you'll have multiple participants, multiple contractors, and agencies which are working. So how would you be able to integrate all that? Is that easily possible? So let's say multiple sensors from different manufacturers. So should they be allowed to be integratable with multiple other devices? So what's your opinion on that?
Obviously, it has to be interdisciplinary and should be able to collaborate between different suppliers. Number one, that's where I say about GIS. When we say about the land data, we speak about geographical information systems. And within that, we have OpenGIS. We call it as OpenGIS, where it's workable for any kind of GIS platforms you use. In the same way, BIM. In BIM also, we have OpenBIM. When GIS and BIM come together, only you get this level of data collaboration. And if you consider OpenBIM and OpenGIS, things can be workable. If you don't do that, then whatever you said, it won't apply. You have to
Yes.
fight then for integrating the data.
So policy level, do you think our country has the right set of policies to be able to have such integration?
Well, I'm working currently with Bureau of Indian Standards. I'm co-chairing the BIM panel to develop the national codes on BIM, and we are making it very clear that open BIM is the way forward, and we'll be bringing them into the policies on BIM implement. Currently, we don't have the national codes yet. Hardly 15-20 countries have their national standards, but ISO standards are already in place for implementation. But again, national codes are very important for our kind of projects, which may be a little bit different from other countries. So down the line, in another 1 or 2 years, we'll have the national codes.
Okay, so if the person who was asking question, I think Big Seeker or others, if you want to ask more, I'll just maybe give you a minute. You can raise your hands and I'll unmute you. So Priya, I think, has raised her hand. I'm not sure whether you want to talk or whether it was by accident. So I've given you the option to talk, to unmute. So others also, if you want to unmute, kindly raise your hands and I'll give you the option to unmute. So earlier there was some Ashutosh, I think.
Yeah, well, another thing is whenever we have such events, ask them to form a WhatsApp group. There are some events or some books and all, I can share them, not a problem. That can be one thing you can take from this discussion. Even with ministries, we form such groups.
Because it was quite huge, we thought we have a Google Drive. So if there is any information, you can pass it on to me. I'll put it in the drive and it will be accessed by people.
Okay.
So, anybody else? Any questions? So I think Sauhadra and Aditya brother, who were supposed to collect chocolates yesterday, they haven't come. So if you are there today, come and collect it from me. And also today's sessions, which is the best question, I'll ask Dr. Amarnath and get back later. Tomorrow, I mean, yesterday's questions also I haven't confirmed with the speaker. So we'll get back on that. Any other doubts? Dr. Amarnath's phone number was put up, so you can contact him directly or contact us for any more information. So I think there was one more question which came up. So WhatsApp group cannot be formed because the phone numbers of a lot of students are involved, so we won't be giving that out. However, we will definitely, the Google Drive is there. If you have any doubts, you can mail it to us. We will ask him, or you can contact him directly, and any other information that he is giving regarding this would be put up in the Google Drive and you can look at it. So if there are no more questions, we will thank our speaker. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And thank you, participants. We will meet again at 3:30. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. See you. Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye, sir.